Hey everybody, Dan McCleskey here with Spiritually Out of the Closet. I'm here in this mining cave, this old mining cave here in Pitkin, Colorado. I was lucky enough to be able to come to this part of town every so often in my childhood, and as I got older as an adult, my family owns cabins around this area, and this is a really cool, precious place to me. So I'm going to be talking to you guys today about the white light. This was an extremely powerful experience that I had in my young teenage years, probably around 16 years old, that really made one of the biggest spiritual changes to me that I've ever had. So I'm going to read directly through passages through my book to explain this experience, and then I'm going to speak about a little bit more about it probably afterwards, and touch on a few topics that probably won't be in the writing itself. So let's go ahead and get started. I've had a few visions that have changed me deeply. Visions that have changed the way I see the world and spirituality. This is one of them. I went from a deep trance-like state. Okay, so actually I'm going to explain that real quick too. So a deep trance-like state. This is something that I do from time to time, I think, and it hasn't happened a lot, but usually when I am going into these deep experiences, this is how they start. So sometimes they'll start where you just kind of go from a meditation state to even more. So if you've ever had an out-of-body experience, an OBE, something like that, or if you've had a just a deep vision, it all starts in this kind of mode where your mind is going blank, your body is now vibrating beyond control. It's just this amazing place. Some of these start in a state that is kind of in between sleep. So obviously your body has kind of started drifting off into like a sleep type of state, but you are fully aware. You're wide awake, but your body's even in paralysis. I think in history they've called it a lot of different things as far as when this happens, but sleep paralysis, I believe, is what it's called now. But this is part of that journey sometimes. Now, this particular one is not necessarily that, but this is a launching point if you ever are experiencing that. Know where you're at. A lot of people get freaked out and scared and they never want to go back there again. What I would say is embrace it. And I'm going to tell you how to get out of that too, but I'm going to tell you how to embrace it. So if you do find yourself in that kind of half-sleep state, your body is paralyzed, that is a great option and time to go into an OBE, an out-of-body experience, where you can actually start picturing yourself lifting up out of your body, and you could actually do it. So that's a very fun, neat thing. Now, for those of you that have gotten to that state and freak out, because a lot of people do, because again, you can't move but you're awake, very scary, right? So if you're not ready to go to that next step yet, keep in your mind you can do little movements. And I think when you concentrate on one or two little things, picture your pinky toe, picture your big toe, just one thing, and move it. And the funny thing is you can. So for some reason it just pulls you out of that state if you're focusing on one item to move. So again, your big toe, just say, hey, that's my safety. That's my safety button, is my big toe. I know that sounds funny, but it works. So my big toe is my safety button. I'm going to wiggle it, and then when you start focusing on just wiggling one item, you can wiggle it, and all of a sudden you'll start coming out of that state and you'll be able to move and be aware and awake and all that sort of thing. So just in case, if you don't want to go all the way one direction, you can choose to go the other. Also, while we're speaking on this subject, that is also a good time to listen. When you're in that in-between state, recognize that you're there. So go ahead and recognize that you're there, but also listen. You are constantly surrounded by spirits. You are surrounded by loved ones. I would say even teachers. I've had people teach me things from the other side during that state as well. Is just listen. I've had people talk to me in Latin before, and I had to look up what they said, and it was actually funny. I write about that in my book, so you have to read that part. But it's just a time to learn. So comprehend, listen. And keep a notepad or something like that next to your bed or next to your couch or wherever you do this at, because you'll want to write it down real quickly. Our human brains have a way of really pushing that stuff out, and you'll forget. So write that down right away, because I think you'll be pretty happy with what you come up with out of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue into this. I went from a deep trance-like state, vibes running through my body from head to toe. There was a loud zipping noise that came from the back of my skull to the front of my forehead. I could feel the vibration of the action through my head. I could feel the pressure releasing as it felt like my skull had split into two and released my spirit. Now, when I say that too, it's not like a headache, right? A lot of people will picture that you're having a migraine or something like that, and oh, my skull's splitting in two. This is different. This was like you're literally shedding your meat body suit here, and your spirit is releasing out of your body. It's really strange. The zipping noise, when I talk about that, it's literally like a zipper from the top of your head or the back of your head to the front, and you can feel it and hear it. So obviously, we don't come with some spiritual zipper, so I don't know why I felt it that way or what exactly it was, but that's the best way I can explain it, was a zipper. And so, just very interesting. So, I suggest, we'll just keep moving along here. Okay. I could feel the vibration of the action through my head. I could feel the pressure. We recovered that. Okay. So after I felt that, the zipper from head to toe, is when I kind of blanked from understanding my surrounding. And what I mean by that is understanding my surrounding, that I was at my home in my bed. I was no longer there. At this point, I was surrounded in black. Absolutely surrounded. And this place was the rawest, weakest version of spirit. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know who or what I was. I just existed in this dark place. I had no cognitive process of space or time. I just was. And so the best way to explain this is that, and I write about this previously in my book, different experience, but it's that point where you don't know anything. The only thing you know is that you exist. I have some sort of, idea, or no, I know that I'm here. I may not know who I am. I may not know what I am. I may not know what my surroundings are, but there's consciousness there. And I don't know how to explain that, because it's not your normal consciousness that you feel in the human body or brain. It's a consciousness that's very pure, very pure. It's the only thing. It's the spark, I guess, of who our spirits are, is the idea that we understand that we exist. It's as simple as that. It's crazy. But in this case, again, I feel that this was showing me death. I was shedding my human body. I don't know how long I was in this blackness. I have no idea. But it just showed me from the point of where I understood I existed. The vibrations started. Not like the body vibes that I speak about throughout this book or in my book. So again, the vibration. I'm not talking about vibing. I'm not talking about, again, I've seen spirits from a very young age. I always vibe first. It's really strange. When I could feel something in a house, when I can understand that something's about to happen, I get vibes. It's my own little spidey sense. I get goosebumps, kind of, I don't know if you can see these on camera, but I get goosebumps just like this. And I get them throughout my whole entire body, and I could feel my aura around me in a larger state, and I could feel it. And it lets me feel more stuff that's around me, but I also use it as a protection, which I'll talk about at another time as well, maybe in a video, but it's definitely in my book as well. But these vibrations that I'm talking about are different. Now again, what I'm talking about here is now in that dark place. These vibrations, I think, are the ultimate vibration. Well, you know what? I'm going to keep reading, and then we'll talk more about it. Okay. It started out a steady, almost silent vibration. It was all around me. It started to accelerate. The vibration started to get faster and faster. I would say I was frightened, but in this place I didn't know the comprehension of the word frightened. The vibration got even faster. It wasn't slowing down. The vibration itself started to change. But it wasn't the vibration that changed. It just got to such a fast, magnificent level that it became almost a beautiful tone. Okay, so guys, this is the special thing. Now, when people have those near-death experiences, this is the music that they're hearing. It's not music. It's basically a vibrational level that is vibrating so quickly and it's encompassing all around us that it creates now a sound. It's not just a vibration. It goes from and it gets faster and faster and faster and faster. And now all of a sudden, when things get so fast, you stop comprehending the little beats in between, the little it all of a sudden now becomes a solid tone. And that tone now becomes a beautiful sorry for that. I'll try to dub in something that sounds better than that. But anyway, it becomes that beautiful sound, that almost music. So when you hear about people that had these near-death experiences and they heard music, that's what that is. It's a vibration. I'm going to tell you more about that. Okay. As this was happening, a dim light in the distance began to appear. It almost gave me the impression that I was in a tunnel or a cave. The light was corresponding with the tone. As the tone became faster, the light became brighter. Okay, so this is, again, it's really cool. So as the vibration is doing and it's encompassing, it's basically, it's changing everything around you in that state. So even though you're still in here in this physical place, right, this physical thing, everything is now changing around you. So I don't know if at some level the atoms are shaking and being able to become like a fluid thing that now I could start putting my hand through this physical piece. I don't know. But I could tell you that at this point it was creating a light. It was vibrating to a point now where it was creating an actual physical light, or at least that's what I was seeing. Now again, I don't write about this in my book, but what I did see is that it was a little bit off to the distance, not too far, probably maybe about 20 feet from where I was. And again, I wasn't in a physical body, as far as I know. I had no idea. But it was about 20 feet out, and it was from the left and up a little ways in what still felt like a cave. All right. It almost gave me the impression I was in a tunnel or cave. The light was corresponding with the tone. As the tone became faster, the light became brighter. So, as this was happening, I would want to say that what was happening was beautiful, or even scary, right? It was at this point I'm just used to and know my darkness, my surroundingness. That's all I know. That's all I comprehend at that point. So what was happening, I didn't have words for. Because again, I don't know if I was in a physical body or even had a physical brain at that point. So I didn't know how to explain what was happening or how to know what I was feeling. And again, I could look at this in retrospect and I can put human words to it and stuff like that. And I could say it was absolutely beautiful, but in that moment, there was no way to really understand what was happening. So, when people talk about that there's no words to explain their experience that they just had when they had a real spiritual experience, it's absolutely correct. There is no way to explain it. It's something that is so amazing and beautiful, and our brains are just not developed enough to comprehend how special and neat it really is. The best way I could explain it is we are in these bodies and we are very dull. We are very dull. We can only see so many spectrums of light. We can only hear so many different octaves. Our senses are so dampened down and really just dull compared to what's really out there. The best thing I could explain it to is, we really are like a mole, like the little animal. We're like a mole, you know what I mean? Our senses are not picking up what's around us, not even close. And so, there's so many, and I think we could all do it. I think we have the ability to, but I think our realities have a hard time combining with that sometimes. We have to physically figure out ourselves in these bodies and our understanding of our world. And so sometimes it's difficult when you do have experiences like that. It doesn't have anything to do with this, right? It doesn't have anything to do with this solid place that we're in or these bodies. And it just is so hard to comprehend it until you're fully focused in your spirituality and can kind of know that it's real. But it's a pretty interesting thing. Okay. So one more thing too is that I think that when you have an experience like that, you don't have words for it. You can't explain the feelings that you're having or what you've just seen or experienced. There's no way to comprehend that in your human brain. But we always try, right? That's something I always do, and from a young age, mostly with what I've seen and what has made itself apparent to me, I've always had to try to put my human spin on it, right? To make sense of it, to make it so I didn't feel like I was going crazy, right? So you really get an understanding of what was happening to you spiritually. In this one, I didn't know. I was feeling the fact of when the light started being apparent to me. When I started understanding that light, I can feel that I was in some sort of surrounding, and it felt like a cave, right? It felt like this hard surfaces around me. I don't know that, but that's what it felt like when I was there. So in my human brain, I started comprehending it as far as maybe I was a miner. Maybe I died in a cave-in. Maybe something to that nature of where I actually died in that particular place, and then that's where it made sense when the light started making appearance to me. So again, I do, and it'll be in my book where I speak about portals and that sort of stuff eventually. So I don't know if it was opening up some sort of grand portal, or if this is just the way that we transition back home, where it just kind of, it basically, the fabric, it just becomes non-existent in this place, and home just shines through this hard surface here that we have here on Earth. I don't know, but it was pretty exciting. So, all right. The vibration has now hit a tone so pure, I have no words to explain how powerful and just express the life and death and everything that could ever be in this amazing music. That's the only way I could explain it. The vibrations turned into music that was creating a path between me and home. Okay, so just like I was saying earlier, I think it was getting to a point where it was changing the structure, the structure of what was around me. I think was actually starting to physically changing. So it was creating the pathway home. The light was shining through. It was there to guide me home. Okay, so right now I'm going to explain this to you too, is that I don't believe in heaven or hell. I believe in home. I believe that that's where we come from, is home. And I believe, and I could go on this all day, but I really want to stick to this today, but in short, we're here to have a human experience. And with that, we have life, we have learning, we have love, we have death. It's part of it. And I feel that a lot of us have been here many times. I think that we have full freedom to do that if we wish. We come back to learn what we'd like to learn. We experience what we like to experience and that sort of thing. But it's just a moment. And so it's part of that experience of going to the next place or going back home is really what this is representing. I got my first inkling that I had some sort of choice in this amazing all-giving thing that was unfolding in front of me. I know now I had a choice. I had a choice to move towards the light, or I could stay where I was. The funny thing is that I became attached to this black nothingness in this state. It felt like what was happening was like jumping into a cold ocean when you have never seen or understand what an ocean was. Okay, so I guess I don't know why I wrote it that way, but I've been skydiving before. And when you go skydiving, you have that choice at that moment. You're looking out of this perfectly good airplane, you're seeing yourself flying over this tiny little earth below, and you make that conscious choice to jump. Your parachute could open, maybe it won't. You just made that choice to maybe, you made a choice, and you jumped. It felt kind of like that without knowing what a choice is. All right. I made the choice. I moved whatever form I was towards the light. Even though you would think that there is no way the music could get even more beautiful, it did. It was just the beginning. The white light and vibrational music encompassed my entire being completely. That moment was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced. I heard a loud zipping noise. I could feel the vibrations, the pressure from my forehead to the back of my skull. I was back. I was back. I was back home. I was back laying where I started this experience from, and I was freaking the hell out. That's the best way to say that. I was freaking the hell out. So I was vibing just like I am right now. From head to toe, I was shaking. I was weeping. I just experienced passing over. That is a really freaky thing to come back from. And to be laying in your bed and to just feel what you've just felt. But also, it's like a download. You've just downloaded death. You've just downloaded crossing over into your head, into your teenage head. You've just downloaded crossing over. And that's a lot to soak in. That is a lot. So the shaking, I almost felt like a convulsions. It was to that point of you just experienced one of the most spiritual things that could possibly ever happen. And usually you only experience it once, at least that you know of. You only experience it once as you die. Or if you've chosen to be here before, then you've maybe done it a couple times. But you only get that special experience at the end. So I was able to have that experience, that very, very powerful, all-encompassing thing unfold in my head, and then you have to come back from it. That's crazy. So I can tell you I've never had a near-death experience. I've had a death experience. I guess is the best way to say it, is I moved on. I went to that white light. So I didn't physically die in this world. So I don't know how to comprehend this all the way. Am I going back and seeing something from when I died from a previous life? Or was spirit and the divine showing me basically this is what it is? So anyway, very, very powerful moment. All right, so thank you everybody for listening to this experience. This is one of many. I have a lot more that I've experienced that I will be sharing with you. The name of the channel is Spiritually Coming Out of the Closet. This is one of many experiences that I would like to share with you that I've been blessed enough, cursed enough, I felt like when I was a little kid, to experience. But it's all beautiful. It's all for the best. But I'm done with hiding it. I'm showing it all. It's all coming out. And I'm loving that I'm able to share this with you. So guys, hit subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to see new videos coming out. Like the video. I would love to do this for a living. I would love to just sit around and show you everything that I've seen. So anyway, so we're all here to have a human experience, so don't forget to have fun. Thank you very much.